At the twilight of her youth, Chidimma stood in front of a mirror, one that had grown dull over the years. Her fingers brushed against her face, once radiant, now marked by the inevitable passage of time. She remembered the days when every man who crossed her path would fall under the spell of her smile. Those days seemed to belong to another life, a life where she ruled as a queen, convinced her beauty would last forever. But today, alone in this silent room, she was but a shadow of the woman she once was. Everything had vanished, and with it, the strong, invincible woman she believed herself to be.
Chidimma was born in a small Nigerian village, a modest place where nature set the pace. From a young age, she captured attention with her breathtaking beauty. The village elders whispered that God had taken special care in her creation, removing every imperfection before giving her life. Her large, dark eyes shone like stars in the night, and her smile, like a ray of sunlight, brightened everything in her path. They called her Nwanyi Mara Ma, the beautiful woman in the Igbo language. At 19, Chidimma left her village for the city, filled with hope and dreams for the future. She had no idea that this move would throw her into a whirlwind of choices that would haunt her for the rest of her life. Upon arriving in the city, Chidimma was instantly thrust into the limelight. Her beauty captivated everyone, from university students to professors. But she, focused on her studies, deliberately ignored the gazes that followed her, brushing off the whispers that surrounded her. The city, with its glittering lights and promises of grandeur, beckoned, but she resisted, for now. One day, a classmate, Amadi, posted a picture of her on social media without her permission. That single snapshot spread like wildfire. Within hours, Chidimma became a sensation, admired not just in her country, but far beyond. The national and international attention that followed placed her in a new world where beauty was traded like precious currency.
Under the spotlight, Chidimma learned to savor fame. Her beauty, once merely a quality, became her ticket to unimaginable opportunities. Major brands approached her to be their ambassador. Flattered by the recognition, she stepped into the world of beauty pageants. Her early steps led her to win the title of Miss Nigeria, then prepare for international competitions. Yet, behind the glamour and glitz, Chidimma felt an emptiness. She, who had once dedicated herself to her studies and ambitions, now found herself trapped in a world where only appearance mattered. But how could she refuse such addictive glory? How could she turn away from the light when it burned so brightly?
During a high society event, Chidimma crossed paths with Obi, a young billionaire. The moment he saw her, Obi knew she would be his. He had never met a woman so beautiful, so dazzling. Without wasting a second, he called his mother, Nena, to tell her he had found the woman he wanted to marry. But his wise, experienced mother cautioned him, "Son, beauty is deceiving. Make sure her heart is as pure as her face." However, Obi was determined. The next day, he approached Chidimma with unshakable confidence. "I don't know you, but I'm going to marry you," he told her. Chidimma, at first bewildered by his audacity, eventually gave in to the charm and determination of the man. A few weeks later, they stood before the altar, surrounded by their families and admirers, to celebrate their union.
The first years of their marriage were marked by apparent happiness. Obi adored his wife and showered her with gifts. Chidimma lived in unimaginable luxury, driving the finest cars, wearing the most beautiful clothes, and traveling to the most coveted destinations. Their marriage quickly became the model for everyone around them. But as time passed, cracks began to form in this perfect picture. Chidimma, used to admiration and attention from everyone, felt trapped in her marriage. The temptation of infidelity gnawed at her, and slowly but surely, she allowed herself to be seduced by other men. taking advantage of her husband's frequent business trips. Chidimma's secret life eventually came to light. Rumors of her affairs reached Obi, who, though hurt, tried to save their marriage. He forgave her once, then twice. But with each act of forgiveness, Chidimma fell back into her old ways. Obi, tired of fighting against disrespect and betrayal, eventually filed for divorce. Chidimma's divorce made headlines. She, who had once dazzled the world with her beauty and fame, now found herself alone, more than ever a victim of her own choices. Years passed. Chidimma, who had built her life on her beauty, realized that time did not play favorites. Her face, once adored, began to fade. Her skin, once smooth and radiant, now bore the marks of time. The men who once pursued her ignored her. The attention she used to receive grew scarce. Reality had caught up with her. Her beauty was not eternal. She remembered Obi, his unconditional love, and all that she had lost through her own actions. But it was too late to turn back. Alone in her quiet home, Chidimma realized that she had become a shadow of her former self. Every mirror reflected the same message. Beauty is fleeting, but the mistakes we make leave deep scars.
Chidimma's story is one of many women who believe that beauty can buy everything. But true beauty, the kind that withstands the test of time, lies in the heart and in one's actions. Chidimma had learned this lesson, but at what cost? It's easy to fall into the traps of appearance, but true happiness comes from the choices we make. As an old African proverb says, "A beautiful appearance lasts only for a time, but a good heart is forever."